Hey FlossTube, it's Leslie with Fat Cat Flossing. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a great Friday. Today is March 23rd. See, this is for you again, Julie. I'm getting better. And I just want to say thanks for coming back to watch me. Thanks to everybody who's subscribed. I sure do appreciate it. Y'all leave the nicest comments. I get a kick out of the comments, and I get a huge kick out of replying to you and having a dialogue with you guys. So thanks again. It's awesome. I don't have a whole lot to talk about today. I have not been incredibly productive again this week. You'd have thought, but no. Other than, y'all excuse me, I'm in the middle of a power surge. Middle age is just awesome, isn't it? Beats the alternative, though. So anyway, not a whole lot's been going on around here. Steve went back to work on Monday. Spring has sprung. Everything is greening up. We are gearing up for a, we're supposed to get a line of thunderstorms and kind of bad active weather starting this weekend. So that's always a little scary for me. I'm not used to that kind of stuff. But anyway, it is what it is. All you can do is deal with it, right? Just a funny story. My husband, you know, is awesome. God love him. And he is a very eclectic type of guy, and he likes all kinds of different music and everything, and he's a real he likes to think he's macho, but really he's a marshmallow. He really is, which is one of the big reasons I love him. And he also indulges my love of watching musicals, and his favorite musical is Chicago. And I tell you this to tell you what happened yesterday evening. So, like I said, spring has sprung, and our yard is greening up and growing like full of weeds, which it is. So we got in touch with this nice young man who runs, does lawn service stuff. And he came by he was supposed to be here but about 5 yesterday to give us an estimate. And he didn't come, and he didn't come, and he didn't come. And eventually we just ate dinner and, decided he wasn't coming, and Steve went to change clothes. Well, about the time that Steve was in the bedroom changing clothes, I was in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner, and the doorbell rang. And it was this young man, and he was very apologetic and said he was very sorry he'd gotten hung up at his other job, but he was here to give me the estimate. So, come on in. And my front door to my back door is just a straight shot through the house. Well, apparently Steve had not heard the doorbell, because about the time that I got halfway across the living room with this young man, Steve came dancing out of the bedroom in a t-shirt. This is pertinent because it was only a t-shirt. Now, it was a fairly long t-shirt, thank you, Jesus. But he comes out singing show tunes from Chicago with no pants on. I'm hoping that the young man will be back to mow the yard. We'll see. By the way, Steve danced very quickly back into the bedroom. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. He's a silly guy. What am I all into this week? Well, we went into Fort Smith Wednesday evening, I think, to pick up Steve's new glasses. And we went to eat at a place called Five Guys. And I think they're a national chain. But anyway, they do hamburgers. It was a delicious hamburger. And we walked out of there and happened to turn towards the back of the little shopping center where they were. And like I said, we've only lived here about 1.5 years. So we're still exploring and finding new things in Fort Smith. And I happened to glance up and notice that there was a place called Bliss Cupcakes. Now, I love me some cupcakes. So we went over to Bliss Cupcakes, and I was amazed because it was about 5:30 by this time. And most bakery places are not open that late, but this place, their little sign said they were open to 9. So we went in and we got some cupcakes. And I cannot show you the evidence that we were there because I've eaten it. But the cupcakes were delicious. So I think I will be making more trips back to Bliss Cupcakes in Fort Smith. If you're ever in Fort Smith, stop by there. They were yummy, yummy, yummy. The other thing I'm all into is my allergy meds, because like I said, spring has sprung. So my Zyrtec and I are best buddies. And if you hear me sniffling and I have the occasional sneeze, I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm in allergy hell right now. What other news? Oh, Steve was fiddling through, I think it was Amazon maybe last night, looking for something to watch. And he came across this series called The Expanse, which I believe is on the SciFi channel. And he was watching the previews for it. And I said, I think I've read those books. And I went and Googled it. And yes, I did read those books. I think I've read the first 5 probably. It's a series, and I'll show y'all. So you have to like sci-fi to like it, but I do. Poop. Hold on. I thought I had this all set up. There we go. It's a series. The author's name is, if I can do away with the glare. Nope. James S.A. Corey, which is actually a pseudonym for 2 guys who co-write this. It's very good. Now, it is an opera. They are big books. There are, I think at last count, 5 or 6. And I haven't read the most recent one. I have it downloaded, but I haven't read it yet. But they're quite good. And I am looking forward to watching that series now because I enjoyed the books. And hopefully the series doesn't screw it up like they so often do. But anyway, it's called The Expanse. The first of the books is Leviathan Wakes. And then there's a number of them after that. And I will put them down in the show notes when we're done. And then I finished recently another book called Artemis by Andy Weir. Wire, that guy. There was a movie that came out a few years ago called The Martian, which was based on Mr. Weir's first book, also by the name of The Martian. And the book was incredible. It was, honest, one of the top 10 books I've ever read. The science in it is real, which is interesting to me. And it was just a really, really cool book. The movie was good. The movie starred Matt Damon, I think, and it was really good, but the book is incredible. So this one was also very good. This one is not based on Mars. It's based on the moon, with a fictional moon base there. So if you like sci-fi, that's another good one. It's called Artemis, and I'll put that in the show notes too. But anyway, that's about that stuff. Enough about that stuff. Y'all want to talk about some stitching? Okay, well, we'll do that. Oops, well, sort of stitching, sewing stitching. One of the reasons I've not gotten a whole lot done cross-stitch wise this week is I've been making these. And they're nothing special. But I moved Story, who is due within the next week or so, into the kitten room on Tuesday, I think. So I can keep a closer eye on her and make sure she doesn't have the kittens like under the ottoman or something. But anyway, she's in the kitten room. And when I was getting her all situated, I was going through my stack of these little, I call them kitty quilts. And they're not quilts by any stretch of the imagination. They're just little pads I make to go underneath the babies. And I noticed, oops, my stack is getting low. Because I also send one of these home with each one of my kittens. So they have something that smells like home. It's kind of comforting to them. But anyway, I decided I better make some more. So these 3 were, and this was from a fabric remnant. There weren't enough. These aren't really big enough to use under the kittens. But I'll wash them and, Phooey, I don't need your help, little girl. I'll wash them and they'll smell like home and they'll go home with babies. And then I made a bunch of these others. And these will go in the little caves I use for my mamas, so because they like that. They like to be in a kind of semi-enclosed space. They feel safe. And these, I stack them underneath them when the kittens are coming, and then as each kitten comes, I pull out the top one and get rid of it because it's wet and nastified. And then I keep them under there to give them something soft to lay on. But anyway, I made a stack of these. I think there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these, and I've got another 10 or 12 cut out, but I ran out of quilt batting, so that's got to wait for payday for me to get some more quilt batting. And then 2 bigger ones. Once the kittens at about 3 weeks start to outgrow the little, it's about this big around. They're called pea pods, and it's spelled P-E-I-P-O-D-S. If you're interested, you can look them up. But anyway, that's what my mommies are in. Once they start to outgrow that at about 3 weeks, And then I take that out and I just put one of these soft pads in a corner of the crate for mama and babies to lay on. And I made a couple of those. Anyway, so I spent 2 mornings at the sewing machine cutting material and then sewing those up. And I would still be doing that today, but out of batting. So maybe I'll get more cross stitch done. But now let's talk about actual cross stitch. 10 minutes in, here I am. I had one finished this week. This is, oops, can't see it. The 12 Seasons of a Texas Christmas, or what is it? I'm having a brain spell. Where is it? 12 Days of a Texas Christmas. And it's by Redbird Designs. And I did this for my friend Charlotte's mom, Anna. And I'm going to be finishing that. Probably Monday is going to be a finishing day. But I'll be finishing that to send to Charlotte so she can give it to her mom for Mother's Day. And here's that pattern. And if anybody would like to stitch this, let me know and I will send you the pattern. Because this is not particularly my style or color. I got it because Charlotte said my mom loves yellow roses, and so it was for Anna. But this is not something that I would stitch again for myself. So if anybody wants this pattern, I'm happy to share it with you. Just let me know and I'll send it to you. And it'll be first person who mentions it, you know, you're going to get dibs. If there are multiple people who want it, what I would like to ask is that whoever gets it, if you would be willing then to pass it on to somebody else once you're done stitching it, I think that would be awesome so we can all share. And, sorry, used my notes, so now I got to go back. So that was my only finish. My whips. I have been a shepherd's bush fool this week. That's all I worked on, is shepherd's bush stuff. And the first thing I worked on, this is Oh Beautiful by Shepherd's Bush. And of course that picture does it not do it justice at all. I saw the model stitched up at the Silver Needle in Tulsa, and I was in love. And I had to have it. And I made a little bit of progress. Oh, Lord, y'all. I worked for 2 days on that those 1/1, the wording there. The America. That's all 1/1. The cross stitch went fairly fast. The specialty stitches went quite fast because they were all relatively simple ones. But good Lord, y'all, that 1/1. I know it's the same number of stitches as if you were doing 2/2, but it just feels like it lasts forever and a day. But I will persevere. I will get some more done on this. I'll probably work on that some this weekend, I hope. And then the next thing I worked on, more shepherd's bush, and I did not get much done on this. I pulled it out yesterday and did like, I don't know, 30 or 40 stitches probably on it. This is, what's it called? Happy Heart by Shepherd's Bush, which I have stuck a needle into. And I got the beehive finished and the flagpole done, and then some of these little random green leaves around here started. So, and I pulled it out in a hurry yesterday because my mother was coming over to help me shave Story's belly. JJ was a groomer and a veterinary assistant for years before she retired, so she helps me when the cats need to be shaved down because it's much easier and less stressful for them with 2 people doing it versus me trying to hold them and shave them at the same time. I can do it. I have done it before, but it's not my favorite either. So anyway, JJ was coming over and I had to quickly put away what I was working on and pull that out to work on because this is what I've been doing most of this week. This is Mother's Heart, also by Shepherd's Bush. Do you sense a theme? I did this back in the mid-90s, and I forgot to look and see what the copyright date on this is. But I did it for my mom, 1997, so the late 90s. I did this for my mom. And unfortunately, and I had it professionally framed, and it was beautiful. Now, I didn't have the Jill Rinsel matte on it because my budget didn't quite run to that, but I did have it professionally framed, and it was a beautiful piece. And unfortunately, when my mom died, I did not get it back. I really hate that because I would have loved to have it back because I had put tons of work into it, and it was beautiful. And it was for my mom, so I would have liked to have had it back. But when my dad remarried and my evil stepmother moved in and cleaned out all my mom's stuff, she just threw shit away. And, oops, sorry, excuse me. She threw everything away and did not give us girls the chance to really, you know, take stuff that had been my mom's. So, which was pretty typical for old Maureen. May she rot. Sorry, I'm a little bitter. Anyway, this is my progress on Mother's Heart that I'm redoing for JJ. And I'm pretty much done with the heart, you know, the cross stitch heart there in the middle. I've got some beads to add to it yet. And I have to track down another little charm because I used the charm that originally came in the kit when I did it for my mom. So I have to find another little sterling heart charm for her. But that won't be hard. I just got to go search Etsy and find one. And then for the last 3 days, I have been working on these specialty stitches that form the inner border. And they're very pretty, and they are quite time consuming. They are a woven stitch, and there are 12 separate passes of the needle. I think that's right, maybe it's 16. Anyway, a lot of stitches goes into making each one. But it's, like I said, I've done it before. It's a very, very pretty pattern when it's completed. And I like it. So I got to have that finished for Mother's Day. So that's kind of going to be my focus. So I can finish it and FFO it for JJ for Mother's Day. Because I love her to pieces. Like I said, I had to stash it real quick yesterday as she was coming over. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera there. Sorry about that. So that's what I've worked on this week is Shepherd's Bush. Not that I accomplished a whole lot, but I did work on them. So since I didn't have a whole lot else to talk about, I don't have any new starts, I thought we would go through some more of my old stash. And since I am on a Shepherd's Bush kick, I thought I'd show you my Shepherd's Bush patterns. Now, bear in mind, these are my Shepherd's Bush patterns. I also have a metric poop ton of kits in my stash, but we'll start small. Or actually, I don't have anywhere near as many kits as I do patterns, but I have several. This is called Buttoned Hearts, and the copyright on this one is 1992, and it is much the worse for wear because I actually started this, and I pulled it out to work on recently since it was in my old whips, and I have fatal errors that are going to require frogging. So I am going to do it, but I'm going to have to basically start over. But it's a very pretty little pattern, and somewhere I should have all those buttons for it because I would have bought them at the time that I bought it. But that's just going to be a matter of finding it. And it's been in a plastic bag and looks much worse, much the worse for wear. But anyway, that's one of them. The next one is called Father Yule. And this is 1990, Shepherd's Bush. And looking at it now, the main piece down here, I'm not huge on the monochromatic stuff like that. So I'm guessing that I bought it for this guy up here. And I may try to start that and get it done for Christmas because I do love him. And you know, he's got a sheep. Although I do not plan to make this one blue. And if you wonder why that's funny, well, refer back to the last video. Somebody commented that we could put my blue sheep together with her pink sheep. Sorry, my hair's falling down here. And I said, well, we'll just have our own little fantasy fair for them. So, come on, do some rainbow sheep, y'all. Join in. Anyway, I'll probably do him and not make the sheep blue. And then this one is called Shepherd's Earth. And this one is also copyright 1990. And I thought I'd do them in chronological order, of the order that the charts came out, not necessarily the order that I acquired them because I don't really remember when I got most of them. But I really like that one. I do still plan to do that one. I don't know, one of the reasons I probably bought this is I don't know if you can see at the center of that motif of the sun and moon together. I have a tattoo on my left shoulder that's a rainbow and a sun and a moon celestial scene, and it's not exactly like that, but it is a celestial scene, and that's probably why I bought that pattern, because it, you know, I just like that motif. But anyway, this one is called Earth Song, and it's more of like a little bit more like a typical sampler type thing. Copyright date on this one is 1991, and it says, soft earth song comforts the heart that would roam. It calleth the gosling to vespers. It leadeth the lamb to its home. And I just thought that was a really sweet verse. I liked it a lot. And you know, there is, guess what? A row of sheep. It's one of the things I love about Shepherd's Bush is all the sheep. Which brings us to Gentle Flock. Guess what? A sheep and a duck. Because, you know, it was the 90s, y'all. Everybody was doing ducks and geese. This one is from 1991. And I do like this really sweet little piece up here at the top. But all of these I do plan to do at some point. And I typically, when I bought patterns, usually bought at least the linen, if I didn't always buy the thread. So chances are that somewhere in my stash of crap, there is linen to do that. And we'll get to my linen woes in a minute. But anyway, the next one is Angel Pie, which I just think is cute. And it says, Christmas peace, shine through the night and fill our hearts with your joyous light. I think that's just really sweet. And then her wing says peace. And this one is from 1991. So I was big on some Shepherd's Bush in the early 90s. And I still am. And this is a little bitty one, and I actually picked this one up, I think, more recently. It's called The Root Garden. I thought that would be cute. My camera doesn't focus that close up. I thought that would be cute hanging on in my kitchen with all the root vegetables. And this one is, I think, 1992, I believe. Yep, 1992. This one is called Buttoned Yule, and it is copyright 1992. And as I look at this one now, it does not appeal to me as much as most of the others, but apparently at one point. And while I will pass on most of my other charts, I tend to keep my Shepherd's Bush charts. Some of these I have already done that we'll get to. I'll show you when or tell you when we get there. But, you know, I am attached to my Shepherd's Bush. This one is called Wandering Vine, and that's because on this Afghan, can you imagine all the work that went into that? It has this vine border. And I have not been moved to do this. I think I actually bought the Afghan to do it on at one point, although God knows what's happened to it. But it was just so big and intimidated me and never got it done. This one is copyright 1992. But anyway. Sheep. I'm likely to do the sheep. I probably won't do the Afghan. Yeah, that one's big. This one's called the Heart and Home Folio. Copyright on this one is 1994. I think those are cute. This one is Peter's stocking. And I have done this one and gave it to a friend's child. Very first birthday, I think. This one is Gathered Hours. And it's a very, again, sweet little sampler type. And of course, it has sheep. This one is Christian stocking. And this one is copyright 1995. And I kind of think I did this one, but I don't really remember. It was over 20 years ago, y'all. I'm getting old. I don't remember. This one is Angel Song. And this one is copyright 1996. And I thought that was sweet. This one I am going to do. This one is called Santa Berry Pudding. Isn't that cute? That one may have to be worked up for this Christmas. And I think that would work up pretty fast because there's not really, I mean, it's mostly words, and words seem to go fast. So that one may have to get on my mania list, which I'm not ready for. But that's a whole different ballgame. This one is called The Earth Gatherers. And I absolutely love this. I think the copyright on this one is, I don't know, 1996 or 97. I don't really remember. But I have said before, I gave away almost everything I ever stitched. But I did not give this one away. Whoops, that's my roll for my stitching there. Here it is finished. I finished this in 2000. And I love this piece. I actually have the Jill Rinsel mat for this. It has moved with me 7 or 8 times since I bought it. It's a little the worse for wear, but I am planning to frame this yet. I love this piece. It is my favorite thing I have ever stitched because, you know, sheep. And I know we were showing, I think it was Michelle and some folks were showing their backs. There's the back of mine. Not incredible, but not terrible. Looks like I did carry some floss there to that sun, which I probably would not do today, but, you know, it was a long time ago. But anyway, The Earth Gatherers by Shepherd's Bush. My favorite thing I've ever cross-stitched. This is Checkered Sheep. Want to guess why I bought it? Copyright 1997. And when I bought this, I actually bought this game board to put it in. In those 7 or 8 moves. And I paid a pretty damn penny for that thing too. I have no idea what happened to it, but I would still love to do this. My husband and I really like to play games, and I would really like to do it. But I may have to find some other way to do it besides paying that much for that thing again. If it's even still available. I bet it is, because there are other game board patterns out there. This is A Mother's Garden. Copyright on this one is 1997. And I did this. I think when I did it for a friend, and I'm pretty sure that I changed mother's to a friend, so it read, "A friend's heart is a garden." But I think I did that for my friend Leanne. This one is called Ba Ba Little Sheep, and copyright 2000. And I've shown before, I have another little shepherd's bush that I did that I don't know what I did with the pattern did, God knows. But it used the same, it's called Dancing Lambs, I think, and I used the same button on it. And that one's hanging in my hallway. This one is Be Sweet. And this one is copyright somewhere on here, I would assume. I don't know. 2006. Now, I have not had this since 2006. I bought this sometime last year off, I don't remember if it was eBay or Stash and Load or one of those. But anyway, that's one of the newer shepherd's bush patterns I have, and I've gotten it more recently. I haven't had it in my stash forever. And then this one is Scatter Hearts. And I love this one. This one has, I'm going to say that this one I'm going to have done by next Valentine's Day, because I think that would be a really cute little small, if I do it on something little so it's not crazy big. They did it on a 19 count cork on the model. So I think, you know, at least a 32. We'll see. But this one is copyright 2008. But this one is going to go on my list of things that needs to be done sooner rather than later. So there's my shepherd's bush patterns. I'll show you the kits another day, because we're at 30 minutes and good Lord, I can sure yap. All right, a couple more things and then we're out of here. I have a little bit of haul, not a whole lot. But I ordered, thanks Julie, this is all your fault. Julie talks all the time about the Pat Carson needles, which I have never used. But she raved about them, so I went looking and ordered some. And I ordered them from an Etsy shop called Needle Case Goodies. I just did a search for Pat Carson needles, and that's where I found them. But, you know, I didn't want to pay all that postage for just nothing but needles, so I had other things. And Nancy, who is the proprietor of the shop, sent a lovely little note with the needles. And then, you know, to make that postage worthwhile, I had to get some haul, which amazingly enough includes a shepherd's bush pattern. I'm incorrigible. I can't help myself. What can I say? This one is Easter Notes. This one is copyright 2017, so it is my most recent shepherd's bush. And of course, it just came in the mail the day before yesterday. But it's very cute. I'll have this one done next spring. Love it, because, you know, sheep. And then I don't have a big stash of Blackbird design stuff. You know, they're one of the designers that became popular, or, you know, was really on the market during the 15 years that I never picked up a needle, if it wasn't to sew a button on. But I really, really like their designs. Love them. And Nancy had this in her shop also. This is one of the Loose Feathers series. It's number 5, and it's called Sing a Song of Seasons. And I just thought the blues and greens in that were really pretty. Liked it a lot. So, had to add that one to my stash too. So, 2 patterns and some needles, and then my last thing I got was, this is a 28 count Lugana from Picture This Plus, and it's called Mellow. M-E-L-L-O, no W. And it's a pretty kind of, it's not showing up as gold as it is. It's a very pale golden beige background with a little bit more gold in the splotchiness, whatever you would call that. But anyway, when I signed up for this, I thought, I'm going to just, you know, I don't hardly ever stitch on anything but 28 count. And since then, I've decided I prefer 32 count. And I don't care if it's 32 count, even weave or linen or whatever, but I signed up for the 28 count Lugana. So now now I want to stitch everything I have on 32 count and even maybe something higher, because I have tried the 36 and I'm okay with the 36. And I have a little sample piece of 40 from somebody who was kind enough to send me some to try. And I think I'll be able to stitch on that. So now I have, I don't know, 3 or 4 pieces of the 28 count Lugana, which is all very pretty, and I, you know, like, but I checked and I can't change it to 32 count. So I have to decide if I'm going to just add this to my stash and say, well, I'll use it eventually, or if I need to try to sell it. What do y'all think? I have a bunch of other older even weave that's even like 25 count. And I found, when I did that Santa pillow for my friend Monica, I think that was in like video 2 maybe. I said this burlappy stuff because I couldn't remember the name of the fabric. I have since established that that is called Heatherfield. And and it's like, I don't know, 7 or 11 count. I mean, it's huge. And I even found some of that the other day when I was going through stuff. So Anyway, I may have to stitch some bigger stuff whether I really want to or not, because I just can't stand the idea of it's just not going to get used, period. But anyway, so that's my haul. I have a couple of shout outs. I didn't get a whole lot of FlossTube watched. Well, that's not true. No, not a toy. Leave it alone. Sorry. I did watch a boatload of FlossTube, but it was all almost one person. But during the time I wasn't watching that one person, who I'll tell you about in a minute, I watched a fairly new FlossTuber. Her name is, I think, Leah Noel. And I really enjoyed her first video, and I'll link her down below in the comments too. But probably 95% of my FlossTube time this week has been spent on Mary Rose from Stitch Bliss Corner. I love her, y'all. She is so awesome. I had not watched her before until I watched Michelle Benny Stitchy's last video. And Michelle was talking about this sampler that Mary Rose had done for her. And it was just awesome. Wow, what an act of stitchy kindness that was. But anyway, I went and looked up Mary Rose. And she's in Australia, I think, based on her accent. That's where I would guess. And she just comes across as the kindest soul. And she is so educated. And I don't know what her previous background was, whether she was a teacher or not previously, but she is a wonderful teacher. I have watched her talk about, the different types of linen and the Wars of the Roses, the Yorks versus the Lancasters, and I don't know what all else. But anyway, I've watched a whole lot of Mary Rose, and she rocks. So y'all go watch some Stitch Bliss Corner. Now, she does talk about her stitching, some, but it is so educational, and I just find it fascinating. Just really fascinating. She's a blessing. The font of information. And she did a lovely piece on Marilyn Levitt. I can't remember her last name. The Lavender and Lace lady. And that was super, just educational, and showed all the beautiful patterns. And I had some lavender and lace patterns at one time, and I have no idea whatever happened to them. I don't think I had any of the Told in the Gardens. But I had some lavender and lace because they were just beautiful ladies. Who knows? I probably still have stuff in boxes. Or it got lost in one of those moves. Who knows? But anyway, go watch Mary Rose. Go watch Leah Noel, and I'll put links to them down below. And then my last little thing to cover is the giveaway from the last video on the Sam Sarah Designs pattern, Happy Life. The name that came up on the random comment picker thing was Alice Walker. I have not yet heard from Alice. Alice, if you hear this, get in touch with me. I'll put down at the bottom in the show notes all of the ways you can contact me. Please get in touch with me, whether it's via YouTube message or Instagram or Facebook or however you want, email, however you want to do it. But get in touch with me so I can send you your pattern. I need you to contact me by April 1st, let's say, which I think is Sunday a week. Easter, as a matter of fact. So contact me by April 1st, and I will get your pattern mailed to you. If I don't hear from you by April 1st, then I'll pick somebody else. We'll do the random comment picker thing again. But I'll send it to you as soon as I hear from you. So anyway, I think that's all I have to blather about. And at 38 minutes, this is my longest video in a while. Thank y'all for visiting with me, for coming and sitting down and chatting, listening to me blither along. I appreciate every one of y'all. Please keep commenting. Please subscribe. I enjoy all of your comments, and I hope I get to reply to all of them. If I don't, I've just had a brain fart. I didn't skip you on purpose. So anyway, I am off to put up all this mess that I had drug out for this, and then stitch some more Mother's Garden. Yay. It's okay. I love it. It's Shepherd's Bush, right? Y'all have a great weekend, a blessed, blessed week. Lots of happy stitching. Take care, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all. God bless.